In the beginning, light created the planet and sent 12 angels linked to the Chinese zodiac to protect it. Darkness reacted with evil spirits, and after a war, only 8 angels remained. Since then, they have lived among humans, hiding their true nature. In modern times, the leader of the angels, Tai-san, who represents the tiger, created the organization Angel Capital Group to lend money to the world's most notorious criminals. One of his clients, Yo Jongsu, is in jail, and Tai-san goes personally to collect the debt, which is already over 2 million. The man threatens not to pay the amount until he gets out of prison, but the leader of Angel warns him that in 100 years of his organization, he has never failed to receive a payment. Yo Jongsu mocks him and asks how he is still alive after all this time, but Tai-san leaves and calls Jae-Whittle, the angel who symbolizes the rat. He asks his colleague to pay the prisoner's bail, as he knows he will receive payment for the loan very soon. In another part of the city, Don Yi, an angel representing the pig, runs a chiropractic clinic with Dr. Bang Wool, the angel of the snake. She specializes in the field, but her methods often scare patients, as she makes sudden movements that almost break their necks. One of her clients ends up fainting during treatment, causing another patient to flee in despair. Seeing the client leave, Don Yi scolds his colleague, saying she needs to be more delicate or the clinic will run out of money. However, shortly thereafter, the patient wakes up completely free of pain and thanks the doctor for the effective treatment. For some reason, Bang Wool is unable to speak, but Don Yi relays everything to the other clients, thanks to his ability to read the minds of any living being. Finally, he gives the patient a medication, charging a price well below market value. Unlike their other colleagues, Don Yi and Bang Wool are not part of the angel organization and have chosen to follow other paths. Meanwhile, Detective Ma Rock, the human chosen to guide the angels in this generation, contacts Tai-san because he needs money. Promptly, the group's leader gives him some of his fortune, and Ma Rock goes to a store, where he buys clothes for Mir, the angel who represents the dragon. She works at a museum in the city, organizing an exhibition about the legend of the 12 angels who fought evil spirits. In the middle of the presentation, she sees Ma Rock enter the venue and calls him over for a private conversation, saying that he shouldn't come to her workplace without warning. The two seem to have a long history together, and Ma Rock gives her the clothes he bought as a gift. He insists that the angels must remain united, but Mir gave up on that long ago and asks him to leave. Back at the museum, Mir picks up a talisman with the dragon symbol, each angel having their own, where they keep their power sealed. They did this to keep their identity secret and no longer interfere in human life. Far away, Yo Jongsu is released from prison, unaware that the angel organization paid his bail. Upon returning to his hideout, the crime boss celebrates his freedom alongside Sora, his girlfriend, and his most loyal henchman. However, in the middle of the celebration, Tai-san calls the man, saying that he paid his bail and is on his way to his hideout to collect the debt. Yo Jongsu is not intimidated by this and orders his subordinates to wait for the man and finish him off. Minutes later, Tai-san arrives at the hideout, located in a port filled with containers, where he encounters Yo Jongsu's men. They set out together to attack the intruder, but Tai-san proves to be a great fighter, dodging attacks and retaliating with quick punches and kicks. Even though they outnumber him, the Tiger Angel finishes them all off, and Yo Jongsu realizes that his opponent is more dangerous than he thought. With only 2 henchmen left, Tai-san easily takes down the first one, but the second is more agile and dodges his blows. Despite this, when it is his opponent's turn to attack, the angel retaliates with his blows, ending the fight quickly. Finally, it is time to confront Yo Jongsu, who puts himself in a fighting stance, but soon after, he changes his mind and opens his safe. Not satisfied with this, Tai-san sits in his chair and orders the crime boss to hand over the money personally, thus settling the entire debt. At that very moment, his other associates, the monkey, horse, and dog Zodiac Angels, set off on another mission. They arrive at the hideout of another gang, which also owes money to the angel organization. Won Sung decides to face the gang alone, and with his parkour skills, he climbs a bridge and sees the criminals gathered ahead. The gang leader orders his men to prepare the cargo and be ready for when the angel agents arrive. After the meeting, Won Sung and Creetly approach to attack them, but the criminals are easily defeated by Mal Suk and Kong Ji, who were already tired of waiting. After that, the trio heads to the hideout, with Jae-Whittle accessing the cameras from a distance and guiding the group all the way. As soon as the gang leader leaves the hideout, he gives the command to his colleagues, who set off after him. Upon seeing the angel agents, the gangster orders his men to finish them off, but Won Sung is confident and goes into battle alone. Once again, Mal Suk is not in the mood to wait, and with one kick takes down one of the henchmen. A fierce fight ensues, with the entire gang going after the angel agents. However, they soon realize that the three are almost as skilled as Tae-san and start getting beaten up. Seeing that there is no way to stop them, the gang leader tries to flee, but Jae-Wido watches everything on the cameras and points out his location to the rest of the group. After finishing off another henchman, Mal-suk goes after the guy, who flees down the stairs, taking 2 suitcases of money with him. Unfortunately for him, he ends up bumping into Don Yi, who is angry with the gangster for knocking his popcorn on the floor. The criminal tells him to get out of the way, but with a belly bump, Don Yi knocks him to the ground and Mal-suk appears immediately afterwards, finishing him off with a kick. Don Yi is happy to see his colleague and says he was just passing by when he ran into the gangster. Mal-suk thanks him for his help and calls the rest of the group to return to base, taking the payment money with them. Far away, Tae-san stops at a small food stall to talk to Jiam-soon, his old friend. She is one of the few humans who knows about angels and met Tae-san when he was still fighting to protect others. However, the tiger angel gave up that fight years ago due to his disillusionment with humans. Even so, Jiam-soon advises him to leave his business behind and seek a normal and happy life, because despite everything, there are good people in the world. Finally, Jiam-soon offers him one of her dishes on the house, and Tae-san tries to repay her with a large sum of money, but she refuses. Suddenly, an elderly man hits Tae-san with an umbrella, saying that he needs to treat Jiam-soon with more respect. Instead of fighting back, Tae-san realizes that this is Manbok, the son of a former stationery store owner. They met when Manbok was still a child, and the man is happy to see him again, even though he has no idea why Tae-san remains so young. Meanwhile, at the police station, Detective Ma Rock sees a news report on TV about scientists who have found mysterious relics at an excavation site. One of them is being evaluated in the laboratory, but the computer registers high energy spikes coming from it. Little do they know that a group of mysterious individuals has just arrived at the excavation site. One of them takes a dagger, cuts his hand, and spreads the blood on the stone wall, where unknown symbols made of light begin to emerge. After that, the group goes to a temple and talks to their leader, a priest with a scar on his face named Samin. They say that after years of searching, they have finally found Ogui, one of the evil spirits who fought against the 12 angels. Clueless about what's going on, Tae-san goes back to Angel's office, but finds it empty. So, he goes to his office and opens a secret safe, where he keeps the day's pay, along with the rest of his fortune. Even though he is satisfied with all this wealth, the leader of Angel thinks about Jiam-soon's words about following another path. He does not suspect that at that moment, his old enemy is about to return to cover the world in darkness once again. Minutes later, Samin goes to the excavation site and begins a ritual, offering part of his blood to break the seal. As he does so, the skies are covered in red light and a dark energy in his body begins to spread across the wall. Even though he is weakened, the priest does not give up and uses all his energy until finally the prison of evil spirits is opened. Before Samin appears Ogwin, a young-looking man with blood-colored eyes, who, upon seeing the group in front of him, reveals a pair of black wings. Back at Angel's base, Tae-san recalls the past, when he lived in a village with the other angels. One morning, he and Mir went shopping when a criminal began attacking one of the residents in exchange for money. Tae-san then steps in to resolve the situation and knocks the criminal down with a punch in front of everyone. His henchmen then attack the fighter, but Mir intervenes and, using her power, shoots a blast of air, pushing the group away. The residents are frightened by this, believing Mir to be some kind of witch. Tae-san then takes her back to the temple, saying that she cannot expose herself like this to humans. When night falls, the wife of the resident who was attacked appears and, in gratitude, sends a feast for Tae-san and the other angels. At first, he refuses the gesture, but the other angels insist and enjoy the dinner with all that food and drink. Hours later, Tae-san wakes up and hears a crowd outside. Upon leaving the temple, he sees a group of residents who have tied Mir to a wooden stake and threaten to set her on fire, believing her to be a witch. As soon as the fire is lit, Tae-san calls the others to help her, but they can barely get up. Sung suspects that there was some sleeping pill in the drink and, looking at the rest of the group, realizes that Mir is not there. Fortunately, Tae-san sets out to save his friend, who was also unconscious because of the sleeping pill. Furious at this act of betrayal, he reveals his powers to everyone, attacking the villagers who stand in his way and freeing Mir from her bonds using only his hands. He then throws the heavy log at the group and orders them to leave the temple as soon as possible. After the commotion, Tae-san gathers the other angels and says that he has finally realized the evil nature of humanity and decides that he will no longer protect them. Back in the present, Ogui has finally returned and recognizes Samim, who says he has been waiting for this moment for over 1,000 years. However, instead of thanking him, the evil spirit begins to squeeze him and accuses him of not trying hard enough to free him. His followers try to save the priest, but Ogui easily pushes them away with a flap of his wings. Samin then begs for mercy, saying he needs his help, as the angels are still alive, keeping the darkness hidden from the world. The next morning, Mal Suk and Kong Ji invite Dan Yi for a walk in the city, but the man gives up before even starting. He prefers to go out to eat, which irritates Mal Suk, and she goes without him, with Kong Ji promising to meet her friend later. Dan Yi then goes to buy a snack and sits in the square to eat, when he sees a dog barking at her. In addition to understanding Bang Wool, Dan Yi is able to read the thoughts of animals and starts talking to the dog, who asks for some of his snack. The man refuses to share and recommends that the dog avoid human food in order to live longer. The dog gets angry about this and calls him a pig, with Dan Yi becoming enraged and going to confront the small animal. The dog's owner is frightened by the madman, and when they see the commotion, Mal Suk and Kong Ji go there to intervene. As soon as they take their friend away, the two scold him, saying that he cannot reveal his powers to other humans, or he will get into serious trouble. In another part of the city, Ogui walks through the streets when he senses a strong disturbance. Nearby, Mir crosses the street and also senses a strange energy, but when she looks back, she sees nothing unusual. Still, she finds this energy strangely familiar, and later decides to stop by a bar to cool off. While drinking a glass of wine, a guy tries to strike up a conversation, but Mir is not interested and tells him to leave. However, another guy shows up and also asks her out, and Mir decides to accept their insistence. However, as they are about to leave the bar, she knocks the two lunatics to the ground with one blow, pays the bill, and leaves as if nothing had happened. Meanwhile, Ogwin goes to the top of a skyscraper with Samin and observes how the world has changed during his imprisonment. The priest says that after the evil spirits were imprisoned, he lost his powers and was forced to wait for the right moment to free his master. But now that Ogwin is free, Samin asks for his help in bringing the world back to its natural state, with darkness taking over once again. Ogwin knows he cannot defeat the angels alone, but his servant tells him that they have taken human form, thus depriving themselves of their powers. In addition, Samin knows a way to make Ogwin even stronger, with the power of another evil spirit named Hate. After being eliminated by the angels, the entity left behind 3 soul stones that, when brought together, can give their bearer infinite power. Despite the tempting proposal, Ogwin does not trust Samin and asks what his real intentions are with all this. The priest says that if he manages to regain this power, he will finally have the chance to become immortal once again. Ogwin accepts his terms, but warns that if Samin betrays him, he will personally remove his head. After the conversation, the evil spirit leaves through the skies of the city, while the priest begins the steps for his dark plan. Meanwhile, the other angels gather at a restaurant to celebrate their birthdays together. Since they were all born on the same day, they meet every year to reminisce about the moments they had in the past. The next day, they meet again for lunch, but to everyone's surprise, Dan Yi can't eat. He says he had a nightmare where he saw Dalji, one of the angels eliminated in the battle against the evil spirits. Dalji was the angel who represented the symbol of the rooster, and in his dream, Dan Yi saw him surrounded by animals, with everyone walking towards him. In honor of his deceased friend, he refuses to eat the breaded chicken they ordered, but as soon as the waiter brings the dish, he doesn't think twice and devours everything. In the middle of the meal, Won Sung asks why their boss didn't come to meet them, and Jae-Widal explains that he went out on another job. This time, Tae-san went to collect from the owner of a car dealership, which serves as a front for his crimes. As in the previous job, Tae-san has to deal with a group of henchmen, but he manages to defeat them without difficulty. He even gives the store owner his change, saying that he can always count on another loan, as long as he pays on time. With the money collected, Tae-san returns to his car and picks up a bottle of medicine, but all his pills are gone. He then rushes to order new ones and goes to the mental health clinic, where Dr. Kim Seongwon is waiting for him. It is then revealed that despite being an angel, Tae-san has several psychological conditions, and the doctor insists that he attend therapy sessions. However, the man does not want to waste time with this and hands over a large sum of money for the doctor to bring him his medication right away. Back at the priest's temple, Samin meets with his followers, who advise him not to help Ogwin, as he may be dangerous. The priest agrees and decides to change his plans, passing on some of his evil energy to all his followers. As soon as the ritual is completed, the group is overcome by the energy of the evil spirits and they set off toward a mysterious portal. At the same moment, the angels' talismans begin to react, indicating that the seal has been compromised and the evil spirits have returned. Detective Ma Rock also has a similar talisman, and when he sees it glow, he contacts the angels to gather immediately. The detective also calls Mir, but she is busy in a meeting at the museum, which has just prepared the venue for its new exhibition. Besides her, Tae-san and Bang Wool also do not respond to the call, leaving the other 5 to go together to see what is happening. Thanks to Kong Ji's ability, she manages to locate the evil spirits, who are heading towards the museum where Mir works. Meanwhile, Mir is leaving the museum parking lot when she senses the same mysterious energy from hours ago. Then she sees that her talisman is emitting a light, and when she looks back, Samin's followers appear through the portal and head toward her. Mir tries to stop them with her fighting skills and shoots a blast of air, pushing 2 of them away. However, even her efforts are not enough to face them, and she is attacked by the group. Just as they are about to eliminate her, a car speeds up, bringing the rest of the team. Seeing their friend being attacked by evil spirits, the 5 set out to defend her, but without their full powers, the battle soon turns against them. At that moment, Tae-san returns to the base to store the payment in the safe when he hears the sound of his talisman reacting on the office desk. Seconds later, Bang Wool also appears, and without saying a word, she shows her talisman, indicating that the enemies of the past have returned. The 2 must hurry, because despite their abilities, the quintet begins to be mercilessly attacked by evil spirits. Finally, they set out to attack Mir, with Mal Suk and Won Sung leaving to defend her, but the 2 are also captured by the group. Shortly thereafter, Detective Ma Rock arrives at the parking lot and sees the 5 angels being defeated by the evil spirits. However, the outcome of the battle remains a mystery. So what did you think of this series? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more series recaps. See you next time.